Welcome to another installment of Engineering Money, the podcast where some full-time engineers give their 2 cents on the financial news of the week. My name is Ben, a civil engineer in Washington State.
My name is Tim, a mechanical engineer in Indianapolis.
And I'm Joey, a food products engineer in Minneapolis.
And this is now week 2 of the new video podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, very exciting. First week worked well enough to publish it on YouTube and have it not getting taken down.
And how about that thumbnail?
Oh,
that was
yes,
great
the thumbnail was
work of art.
incredible. But yeah, we're still learning by doing. There were a few times where we were describing things that we were showing on the video that we know the old-time listeners on Spotify and all the other outlets weren't able to see. So we'll try to get better at explaining those in a little bit more detail.
We still care about you on the audio only side.
Yes,
and we'll be
but
better.
if you are interested in seeing our faces, which why would you be? But we have the link in the description for the YouTube channel. We also have the link in the description for our Discord chat, and then there's going to be one other thing down there. Tim, what would that be?
We are sponsored by Vinovest. If you are interested in investing in wine, it's the only investment that you can actually drink. Well, aside from like if you invested in whiskey, and this is the easiest way to invest in wine that I've found. It's all investment grade wine. They pick them out. They've got some, Joey, how do you pronounce it? It's like the
sommelier.
That.
Yeah. The guy who knows about wine.
Yeah, a guy who knows about wine. They got all those people. They do all the hard work. They make investing in wine easy. I think it's pretty cool. So if you're interested, check it out. But also, I just wanted to point out, if you watch the video, this isn't actually me. This is an actor that I hired. I'm just dubbing it over after the fact.
And you have a new background this time
double.
too.
Yeah, I do have a new background.
Nice.
Well, he's in a new place, so.
Yeah.
One last thing before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, I just want to give a shout out to Ryan for giving me this cool mug. This will be my Engineering Money official
Stonks
mug
on the rise.
that we'll see in every
Hey,
single
that's
episode.
what we wanted to.
For those listening at home,
Engineering Money was stonks in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted.
Engineering Stonks.
Engineering Stonks, yeah. And for those listening at home, Ben just held up a mug printed with the Stonks meme. And if you don't know what that meme is, you should look it up because it's a great one.
Then you don't deserve to know what it is if you don't know it right now.
All
right, very cool.
I'm going to start off this week, Ben. Okay. So the digital dollar. Have you heard anything about this, Joey?
When you say digital dollar, are you talking about cryptocurrency?
No, I'm not.
Then I haven't heard about the digital dollar.
Jay Powell, the chairman of the Fed, came out on Monday and said that the Fed is open to collaborating with the private sector on a possible digital U.S. dollar.
Whoa.
But they haven't. He reiterated they have not committed to launching anything yet.
Oh.
But, how in the U.S., like if you do a transfer from like one bank to another, it takes like 3 days.
Right.
I mean, supposedly with the digital dollar, we're pretty behind the world with that on how long our infrastructure takes to transfer.
Our credit cards suck. We still have swipe credit cards. Most countries don't use those.
Yeah. And so this is aimed to, make everything faster. But it's not like a cryptocurrency with it's not competing with cryptocurrency.
It's still a centralized government-owned dollar. It's just different.
Yeah. Well, and he also said that it would be a complement to physical cash, not a replacement. But what this really is a competitor to, or would be, is to credit cards.
Right. I've been thinking about this actually just this week, Tim. Because I hate cash. I think cash should go away. It sucks.
We should go back to gold.
I disagree. But
gold, yeah, I can get behind gold, but cash, fiat currency made of paper, unhappy with that. But then I thought about it, and it's like, well, if everything's digital, that means right now we'd be at the mercy of credit card companies because that's the only way to do digital money right now.
Mhm.
So if the Fed were to do it, then we wouldn't be at their mercy.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like an
And-
excuse for them to print more money without us being
Well,
able to track
yeah,
it
that's-
as
But
easily.
they don't have to print the money. They can
I
just
know they can just
will it
do it.
into
They can just do it,
existence.
and nobody would know.
Yeah, he said the Fed faces difficult policy and operational questions, such as monetary policy implications of a digital dollar. And luckily, he did say, I think it's one of those things where it's more important for the United States to get it right rather than be first.
Right.
So that's a good outlook. But
Well,
it's something that has to be done very carefully. And, if done correctly with pure intentions, it could be a great thing. But it's the U.S. government. So it's probably not going to.
so pure intentions is
Thrown out the window.
So you know how the dollar used to be backed by physical gold?
Oh, I know that.
What if
so
the digital
well, Jamie.
dollar? What if the digital dollar were backed by Bitcoin? You know,
Oh, why not just make it backed by gold?
Yeah, let's
Make
go
it backed
back
by-
to the old ways.
make it just a whole convoluted mess. The more confusing, the better.
Yeah, but I think most people, the only concern, at least for me, the biggest concern would just be from a privacy standpoint, because then there's the government would know everything that you
Right.
spend, all income and outflow of cash, which, I mean, oh, my hand disappeared. But sure, if you're doing everything perfectly legal, then what do you have to worry about? But then it's like, well, what if they change the laws to be unreasonable? Then
And that argument is terrible
yeah,
because on average, so my fiance is in law school, and she told me something weird. Like on average, somebody that just wakes up, gets in her car, goes to work, gets back in their car, comes home. On average, an average day, you could potentially get charged with, it was 2 crimes or whatever the unit
Yeah.
was.
because they're just the ones that are just most cops ignore, and because well, if you're not being stupid about it, then
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's I don't know. It just seems like it could get kind of dystopian kind of quickly, at least in my mind, because it's citizen, you were recorded making a transaction with a known drug dealer.
Yeah.
You're under arrest. I don't know.
Definitely makes it easier for that.
Yeah.
A lot of upside if it can be done right. Which there, J-Pow said it.
But
It needs a lot more time,
yeah, it does.
but that could be I'm thinking ahead now with all the political stuff
I think-
that'll eventually come down the line. Cuz this
Then I
were
think
you
it
saying
makes
this
your
is
case
the
for gold
early
even more exciting.
Oh yeah, Is this the early stage of development? Is that what you said? That they're
Yeah.
just now
Though
talking about it?
they did say the Fed, they hope to stand up a Fed Now system to allow 24/7 real-time payments by 2023 or 2024. And they say that they're on track for that deadline, but I don't think that's a digital currency. I think it's just they're going to be trying to fix the system that we have that is kind of stinky.
True.
So
I would also describe the US monetary system as kind of stinky.
yes. Hey Ben, we gotta. Oh, I saw something that this week was QE is up to an all-time high again, and
QE?
no, not a stock. Quantitative easement. Is that
Oh,
what it is?
quantitative easing.
Oh, quantitative easing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we
Fed
should just
stuff.
take a look real quick at
Guys, the Fed is cool.
That is super cool.
Back in high school, uh, some of the guys in my econ class started an End the Fed movement, and they would like put up posters through the school. It was pretty great.
Here's a
That
5-year
is
look at the gold spot price to the US dollar, which basically just means it's the price of gold.
yeah.
It's yeah, it's crazy. It can't keep going on like this.
But it can, Ben. Okay. Um, yeah, that was it for the digital dollar.
Joey, you want to go next
My
since you also had some digital stuff? Joey is frozen, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I can talk about my one stock that I'm trying to watch.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so that's Nokia, which they've not been doing too good for the past several years, for like a while. They're down in like the penny stock range.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the reason that I think you might want to watch them is Huawei was.
Yeah, I thought they were in a bit of hot water for a lot of different things.
In their future.
Nice.
And it looks like Joey's back, so it's
Joey
perfect
just
timing.
reappeared.
Yeah, not sure what just went on. Technical difficulties.
Wow, the
All right,
camera
Joey, well,
sizes
you're up.
were going all over the place.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
I talked about Nokia.
Oh, fun.
Just go ahead, Joey.
All right. So, guys, this week, I made quite a play, and it was a little nerve-wracking, not gonna lie,
Uh-oh.
but I did a buy right strategy.
Whoa.
What does that mean?
So it's where you sell a covered call, right? But like you buy the stocks and then immediately sell the call. So, but I did it with Tesla right before their earnings.
Okay.
That's
And
risky, Joey.
so it was a wild ride, but I felt good about it because I was able, because the way the buy right works is, right, so you're holding the stock, so if they go up, good, but then you've also sold a call, and I sold the call above the current price. So if the stock went up, then that's good because I can earn money up to the strike price of my call. If it went higher than the strike price, then too bad for me, I don't earn any more money. But what's nice is if the stock price goes down, I'm protected by the money I earned from selling that call. And the thing is, this earnings call was so anticipated that the options prices were way, way up.
Nice.
So it fall by like 10% for me to have lost money on this. And so I was like, all right, I feel pretty safe doing it. And so I went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
If you look at that, they ended up going up a very modest amount for Tesla. It was like 3%.
Yeah.
Buy rights are one of my dad's favorite things to do because it's basically you're getting paid to own at least 100 shares.
Right.
And you just collect the premium from selling the call, and then it's so great.
And so the stress-inducing part of this was, I don't know if you've seen the price of Tesla shares, but it's about $430. And so buy right costs,
I think
43.
Right now it's 420.81.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was like right around there when I did it. And so if you do some quick math, that's like $43,000. I did not have $43,000 So it was all on margin.
Oh my gosh,
Joey,
Joey.
no! Don't do margin.
So
Wow.
my margin interest rate is like 7%. So I was charged like $9 for doing this. But what was
Okay.
great is I was able to close out in the next day because the earnings call happened and the value of the call just dropped. And so I was able to just grab some of that money and close out.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'm never going to do that again.
Wow.
Joey,
But
that was
it was
ballsy.
fun.
I was gonna say that like buy rights are a pretty. They're not, relatively speaking, they're not too risky. But yeah, if you're using margin, yes, most
Yeah.
certainly yes.
So for the folks at home, um,
Don't
I
do margin.
bought a bunch of Tesla with money I didn't have.
And then you sold an options contract that leveraged the money that you didn't have.
Right.
Oh, that could have gone so bad, Joey.
I mean, but like you said, Ben, relatively safe.
Not when you use
It-
margin.
It could have only gone poorly if Tesla dropped more than 10%. And I felt good that they wouldn't because they'd been going down for like the past 2 weeks in anticipation of this earning. I'm like, all right, it's already priced in down.
Or if
I felt really good about it, Ben.
or if the contract went up above the strike price, because then you would have.
Well, I would have lost money relative to if I had not sold the contract, but relative to doing nothing, I still would have just earned some money.
Maybe.
Yes.
But as a great investor once said, he was great enough that I forget his name. If it's a sure thing, then go big. So
I prefer the strategy. If you can't make a year's salary in one play, it's not worth it.
Yeah. That's what I go by.
yeah, that's a better quote
Wow,
from a much greater investor.
that is exciting,
Well-
Joey.
But that's pretty much like all I had for this week because it just took all of my attention.
Wow. Okay, then I'll go ahead and go. Mine is definitely the least exciting, I guess you could say, out of everybody's. But so I like to have a Cinderella story stock in my portfolio, where it's something that's had a bad time, something that's really down, and they've been beat up for a while, but there's like some things about them still look okay. So for
A proverbial diamond in
a
the
diamond
rough.
in the rough, and for a while now, since about the beginning of the year, that stock for me was Intel. And so I've been holding them because it's like, okay,
Okay.
they're a tech stock. They're underperforming relative to their peers, and they pay out a pretty decent dividend. So at the very
all you really care about,
least,
then.
I'm just getting a dividend. But they just had their earnings call this past week,
Ooh.
and they didn't miss by very much. They were estimated to get $1.11, and they missed it by 9 cents. So not terrible, but the earnings
Ben,
call.
Ben,
What?
you can't miss earnings in this, because if you're missing earnings now, the expectations are already low. You know?
And so is it really a miss?
Well, yes. So the
Big.
the speakers in the call were basically saying, like, yeah, this is just the beginning. It's gonna get worse. And then the stock price dropped about 10 or 11% on Friday,
Yeah.
um,
10.5.
which is not great. And I'm starting to reconsider this as my Cinderella stock, because they obviously got beat up in March, and I was like, everybody's getting beat up. And then they had a bad earnings call, and then they had a second bad earnings call, and if you compare them, let's do that real quick. Viewers at home, I'm loading in Nvidia, and we'll also add in
Well,
AMD.
but those ones just took off.
And they're just so much more agile.
Oh wow.
Intel is just stuck in their ways. I feel they can't really adapt as well as their peers. They're doing so much. Like Nvidia is up 130% year to date. AMD is up almost 70%, and Intel is down 20%.
Yeah, if listeners look at a chart of the Nasdaq, that's the shape of these ones that are doing well, and then Intel is the shape of
failure and sadness.
Delta Airlines.
Failure.
So I mean, I'm gonna reevaluate probably at the end of the year. Well, we're almost at the end of the year, but maybe in like 6 months I'll look at them again and see how they're doing. If they're still down a ton, we'll see. Maybe it'll be worth it again. But I'm thinking about switching to a new rags to riches stock, and that stock is Coca-Cola.
The Sody Pop
The
company.
Sody Pop company.
Big on Sody Pop.
So they've had it pretty rough over the past decade or so. They've had very little to no growth in earnings over that time. They get a bunch of flack because most of their products contribute a ton to the obesity problem, and people are trying to solve that. And what?
And plastic waste.
And plastic waste, the environmental part as well. And they're just one of those big companies. Joey's camera's screwing up again. Big
No,
companies that it's being called the no growth stock. Just because they've stagnated for so long.
Why? Well, then how does that make them a growth stock, Ben?
Exactly. It's been considered a growth stock, but
what's their price to book ratio?
That's a great question. I don't know how to get that on this thing.
Because I think the rule of thumb is it has to be greater than like 2 to be considered a growth stock.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh,
wow,
indicators.
so that makes...
It should probably be...
That
price
makes
to book.
Tesla a mega growth stock with their PE over 1,000.
Well, you want the price to book, and it's... I don't know if it'd be an indicator. I think
financials.
Oh well.
Yeah, because the indicators are like things you can draw on a chart.
See, Joey, that's why we have you here, because you actually know what you're talking about, and we don't know anything.
Oh well, Ben.
It's usually just in like basic
facts
of the company.
See, I just don't know this website well enough to find that stuff. But anyway, the growth stock point is not the point of this thing. So what I like is the dividends. So since 2013, they have consistently raised dividends or kept it the same. So I was looking at their dividend history. Right now it's quarterly 41 cents per share, which is pretty decent. It's like 3% or so.
Yeah.
And if you go back all the way to 2013, it was at 28 cents, and it just consistently goes up. And since the pandemic hit, the price or the payout ratio has been pretty bad. What was that, Tim?
I dropped something.
It's been pretty bad the past 2 quarters. Like, it was 40 cents this past earnings report. And they pay out 41 cents in their dividend. So it's basically 100% payout right now. But before the pandemic, they were a little bit better, around 50 to 60. So still pretty high, but safer.
Okay, Ben, but what do you see in them?
So they've just underperformed since the pandemic hit relative to its biggest adversary, Bepsis.
Peps. Beebus.
Oh yeah.
So Pepsi is still
Interesting.
down year to date. They're down 3%. Coke is down almost 8%. And there really isn't too much of a reason why there's that 5%.
Well,
difference.
Pepsi also sells snacks, Ben.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they have more stuff on their books. They make more money because they have, I guess, more products.
Lay's potato chips.
But Coke is trying to become more adaptable. So they've, over the past few years, been slowly offloading a lot of their bottling operations, and they now have just third-party vendors that do the bottling. So they're lightening their sort of their what's the word?
Financial burden.
Yeah, things that are sort of tying them down. They're selling them off, having other companies run those sort of secondary tasks of the company. So their books are a little lighter, and they're trying to get better with their cash flows.
Yeah.
And
Good for them.
their CEO is pretty good. And worst case scenario, it's a 3% yield on their dividend, which is pretty safe.
Not too shabby. And Ben, I
mean,
did just
no-
look it up for you. The price to book is 11.8. So they are in growth stock territory.
Even though
And-
they've stagnated for like a decade.
Right. And 11.8 compared to the beverages industry of 9. So they're more growthy than the beverage industry.
Yes. Thank you, Joey. So yeah, Coca-Cola, the non-growing growth stock.
Yeah.
Rags to
think
riches
I'll
story.
stick with AG and C for my dividends, Ben.
Oh yeah, agency. Oh, I found, so one of my coworkers, this is a little bit off topic, but hopefully we have time to talk about it for just a second.
Just a
ET,
second.
Tim. If
ET?
you want to talk dividends, you're not
what's the
talking unless you're saying
extraterrestrial?
ET.
What is ET's
20%.
Ooh.
20%. And so I
No
yeah.
way.
So they're a $5 stock about right now, or they're 6 something. Let's remove the
right.
comparison here.
I'm buying
Yeah, so they're at
some.
6.30 right now. I bought them when they were at like 5 something. So I bought them a few months ago. But so they own a bunch of gas pipelines in Texas, the Midwest, and a little bit in Montana as well. So they're an energy company. So right now might not be a great time to go in.
Energy's been weak.
No, it's a great
Energy's
time.
been weak, and clearly their recovery has not been good. But we're how many days away from the election? And if one guy wins, it'll look good for gas pipeline companies, and if the other one wins, they might take a dive, and then it might be a good entry point.
That's
I'm willing to
definitely
make
one of
a
the
bet.
clear places. I feel like there's a lot of speculation on the election, but that energy like that
Yeah,
is
like
definitely
fossil fuel energy
pretty
companies,
obvious.
they're pretty obvious speculation when it comes to who's winning the election. So I would say wait until after we find out. So I think that will be my
Nope.
next entry point, because
I'm buying it now.
Or sell a covered call right before the election.
No, Joey.
only if you have 100 shares.
I guess you
but
could
it's
get
so
in-
easy to get 100 shares because it's only $6.
Yeah, you could get in for like $600.
There's
Yeah.
no margin required.
Are they optionable?
They might be. I don't know.
They are. They are.
I love how quickly
Very
you were
nice.
able to find that. Joey, you need to take a chill
All
pill
right.
on the options.
Well, we got to keep
Had a lot of
ET
caffeine
on the watch.
today.
So yeah, keep a lookout for ET, and my coworker gets a shout out for introducing me to that, because that was a good call.
Yeah, it's on my list.
20%, insane. And if you look at their earnings, 24. So that's an estimate. Let's see their last one. So they missed by 50% and had 13 cents for earnings, and their dividend is 30 cents. So that's pretty rough, but that's in the pandemic.
How often do they do dividends?
Quarterly.
Oh, but see, isn't AG&C every month?
Well,
Is it?
yes,
Wow.
it is. It's
Are they a bond company?
No,
or
they're-
something?
It's
they're
10%
REIT.
every month.
well, it's not
okay,
10%
okay.
every month.
It's 10% annually.
It's 10% divided by 12 every month.
Yeah.
And just to
I
put
know.
my 2 cents on this, my stock in this category is AT&T.
Oh my gosh.
They've been rough recently.
Yes, I know.
No, we're not going down the AT&T hole again. No.
That's fair. We're at 30 minutes. We should probably cut it
yeah.
off and continue dividend conversations for next week.
Yeah. We'll be watching them. I mean, like we said, leading up to the election, things are going to be shaken up.
Yeah.
Next 2 weeks are going to be interesting in the markets for sure. Keep an eye out.
Yeah. Be sure to like and subscribe now that we're on YouTube. And leave a comment
Smash
below
that subscribe.
describing your most favorite dividend stock.
Don't forget
good,
just
everyone.
check out the Discord.
And next week, get ready for a very spooky episode because it will be Halloween weekend.
Gonna rock your socks off.
Should be fun. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening in, and we will see y'all next week.